Hello folks, this is Mr. Bacon Bits, and welcome back to Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4. This time I'm covering how to get all the secret photos. What are they, you ask? Well, they're just that. Using the camera function, there are a number of unmarked locations that you can take a picture of to count as a secret photo. Collecting all the secret photos unlocks a new suit, the ESU suit. When covering the secret photos, since there's many other video guides that do the same thing, I want to add my own flavor to it and try to discuss about the significance of each secret photo as I show them, as a sort of historical tour. Hopefully it'll be interesting. I know I learned a lot by doing this. I'll have a map of all secret photos shown at the end if you wish to just see that. Let's get going.
Sounds like a big job, but we're up to it.
Not you. For a job this tough, we need Spider Cop.
You said it! You even did the voice!
Okay, don't make it weird.
You like me! You really like me!
You made it weird. Let's go, we've got work to do.
I can't wait. Spider Cop surveys the city, placid, but seething with turmoil just beneath its calm surface.
What have I done?
The first one, and certainly the most famous one, is the Statue of Liberty. There's a whole lot of history behind her, so I'm not going to go deep into it, but she was built as a symbol of freedom. She was conceptualized by Frederick August Bartholdi and was transported from Paris to New York to be displayed proudly. I apologize if I mispronounce any names. The crown represents light, shining on the world with her presence. The tablet represents American independence, citing July 4th, 1776. The broken shackle and chains by her feet, representing the end of slavery. This Pitbull statue at Wall Street is actually the spot where the real Charging Bull statue is, a symbol of financial prosperity. It was sculpted by Arturo de Modica in 1987 during the stock market crash. But the Pitbull here is of Lockjaw, a giant pitbull genetically altered by the Kree along with other Inhumans. He first appeared in the Fantastic Four issue number 45 in 1965. This next photo is of this building with zebra-striped umbrellas and bougainvillea flowers on the windows. This is Brookfield Place, a shopping center overlooking the Hudson River and houses a wide variety of eateries and cafes. Over here by the windows are where an entrance and exit are supposed to be. Right next to this building at Belvedere Plaza is a mesh statue. This is one of the pylons constructed here, serving as a symbological portal connecting the two. The magic is kinda lost with the other one missing here, but Manhattan Island isn't nearly one-to-one recreated in this game. As to why it's all angled and not sticking straight up, I guess it's just an alternate version. I couldn't find out why, so if you know, post it in the comments. In front of the Supreme Court building near City Hall is a statue of a woman. This is the secret photo. Normally what's here is a tourist attraction called Triumph of the Human Spirit, a black granite monument built near the site of a colonial-era African-American burial ground discovered in 1991, symbolizing freedom and endurance. It was built in 2000 by Lorenzo Pace. The last pier on the upper left corner of the financial district is another secret photo op. Just take a picture of the entrance. This seems to be loosely based off of Pier 25 in actual Manhattan, which features a skate park and basketball court nearby, as well as volleyball and mini-golf. Quite the place to be. Unfortunately, this pier is severely downsized in the game. Nearby is something called the Auerbach Theater. Take a picture of this one. While there isn't an Auerbach Theater necessarily in New York, this is a reference to Auerbach Theatrical Agency in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This was a front for the Strategic Scientific Reserve, a war agency formed during World War II and stands as the scientific division for S.H.I.E.L.D. This next one is on a brick building. Just take a picture of the gold statue sitting on the corner of it. This is the game's version of the Puck building, named as such because of the home of Puck magazine, lasting from 1871 to 1918. The statue represents Puck, a Shakespearean character. Up top are some umbrellas and lounging chairs, which represent the penthouse apartments and renovations that owner Jared Kushner sought to build on top of the building in 2011. Moving on to Chinatown, the first one is the Chinatown Police Department. This building doesn't actually exist in real Manhattan, but the 5th Precinct is located near the Manhattan Bridge, so it's close enough. This PD is where Yuri Watanabe used to work, and is quite the conspicuous building. Much like the other PDs in this game's city, I suppose. Alright, this one's just self-explanatory. Nearby, there's a building that has wall art of Rhino covering a large piece of graffiti. Grab a picture, it'll last longer.
Possible narcotics sale reported. Nearest unit, please respond. Nearest unit, converge on Lower Chinatown.
Underneath Williamsburg Bridge is a skate park with street art of a building at its entrance. This location is weird. The bridge supports up top match up like they're supposed to, but Williamsburg takes some design aspects from the Manhattan Bridge. As such, there's a similar area underneath the real Manhattan Bridge that looks a lot like this skate park, so I assume that's where this inspiration is from. The nearby Coleman Playground is not here, however. Probably not enough room in this version of Manhattan. Another instance of mixing and matching, at the entrance to the Williamsburg Bridge is the Manhattan Bridge Arch and Colonnade. This was built in 1915 and served as a gateway to the ocean. It linked to Brooklyn at Flatbush Avenue, which led to the Atlantic Ocean. Near the lower research station is a pizzeria with a flashy sign called Leo's. You might be able to find it better at night. Remember, you can change the time of day in those research stations. This doesn't appear to correlate to any real-life location or seem to be a comic reference, but there is a Leo's Pizzeria over in Queens where Peter Parker used to live. This next one is simply the pond right here. This is Stuyvesant Town. As you can see, all the apartments here are plus-shaped. The history behind here is a bit interesting. Gas storage tanks were mass-built over here, which led to an undesirable living situation, and referred to as the Gas House District. It was later built into what it is today, after FDR Drive was constructed, with the gas tanks being removed. Of course, this place is much smaller than it actually is. Just west of Stuytown is a giant First and Last Day movie poster on a karaoke building. There's also wall art of the Scorpion right under the poster. There's nothing particularly else interesting about this building otherwise. Up at the top left corner of the district is a large red building with a rooftop garden. Take a picture of the statue. This is Heart Clinic, or Hospital for Emergency Aid and Recuperative Therapy. It's appeared numerous times in the comics, first appearing in Superior Spider-Man issue number 7 from 2013. Moving on to Greenwich, there's a mural depicting J. Jonah Jameson as a crybaby over by Washington Square Park. You might have caught a glimpse of this while playing the story. It's definitely no secret JJJ absolutely hates Spider-Man anyway. Over near the Highline Hotel, it's the one with the walkway going through it that leads into Hell's Kitchen. Over by there, just to the east, is a pride flag mural on the wall of a building facing another. You'll know you're close when you see other pride flags being flown on the streets. Greenwich Village is known for its support of the LGBTQ movement, and why not? Everybody deserves to be loved. Upper left corner of Greenwich, facing the coast, is the Modern Art Museum. No, it's not MoMA, it's something completely different. Just take a picture of the front of this building. I'm not sure, but I think this is somewhat based off of the Whitney Museum of American Art. It's a similar Bayside location, but the building design is quite different. And it's further up north instead of just south of Highline. Yeah. Moving on to Hell's Kitchen, follow the Highline walkway until you come across this mural of the Vulture. Stealing from the rich, giving to the poor? I don't know if he was that gracious. Over by Josie's Bar is the law offices of Nelson and Murdoch. This is the place where Matt Murdock and his partner Franklin Nelson do attorney work. In case you don't know, Matt Murdock is also the Daredevil, who's blind but his other senses are superhuman in nature. Nice little reference. Next one I did was the Portside Green building over by the river. It's got a giant skull and swords graffiti art. There doesn't seem to be anything this is referencing, it's just a building with cool art on its side. At the corner of Central Park, in front of the fictional Fifth Tower, is Columbus Circle, among of which is a statue of Christopher Columbus. The statue is different from the one in reality, but this is pretty much it. Over at Times Square, there's a multi-layered building with a clock and structure at the top. This is the Paramount Building. It was the headquarters of Paramount Pictures and was opened in 1926 as part of a 3-day celebration of Broadway's 300th anniversary. A bit west of Queensboro Bridge, there's a building that's tall on one side, stout on the other, and has a round courtyard between the two. Take a picture of the tree in the center for the photo. This is Bloomberg Tower, which is, of course, the headquarters of Bloomberg, but also contains One Beacon Court, a residency section where many famous people and successful businessmen live. It's quite a pretty-looking spot. Near the research station about pigeon vaccination, there's a building with 2 towers that has a large mural of koi fish at street level. Take a picture of the fish. For the life of me, I could not find this building in actual Manhattan, so maybe it doesn't actually exist. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Next, on the Upper East Side, there's a Greek library east of the research station. Just take a picture of this. I don't think this is based off of any particular building, but there are nearby libraries in this part of the city, so yeah.
Attention unit. Officers needed to assist.
Over by the Avengers Tower, there's a fountain in the middle of this building complex. This appears to be a business complex with a bunch of different businesses, but I couldn't find anything specific in actual Manhattan. Though, in the Miles Morales game, we were given a name for this place, Gem Theater. This is quite a different location from where it usually is in the comics. Over here, by the end of Central Park, there's a building with a billboard that says the Latin American Museum. Take a picture of this. This is El Museo Del Barrio at 1230 Fifth Avenue. It was founded in 1969 and features Latin American and Caribbean art. It's quite an interesting place to look around in. Upper left from the park at the shoreline, there's a canopied dining area. This is Blackwing Tavern, named after Blackwing, an identity in Marvel that has been helmed by multiple people, such as Joseph Manfredel, Barnell Bohusk, and Samuel Wilson. Blackwing hasn't always been a good guy, unfortunately.
Additional officers needed at Carnegie Hall.
Moving on to Central Park, there's a tranquil little pagoda and boats near Bethesda Fountain. Find it and take a picture. This might be referencing the Loeb Boathouse, as it's in a similar position in relation to the real Bethesda Fountain, just way smaller. By the Manhattan Museum of Contemporary Art, there's a long structure you can take a picture of. This is Cleopatra's Needle, or at least one of them. This is an actual Egyptian obelisk, but doesn't actually have anything to do with Cleopatra, despite the name. The other needle is erected in London at the City of Westminster, both originally made during Pharaoh Thutmose III's reign. Just west from here is Belvedere Castle to take a picture of. Belvedere Castle was designed by Calvert Vaux and Jacob Ray Mould in 1867. The tower was changed from medieval style to a more German style, and now it houses an official weather station for Central Park. It's also a tourist attraction, of course. Far to the north in Central Park is the Blockhouse. Take a snapshot. Yes, Jameson, that's enough. This is an old fort that was built likely during the Revolutionary War as a defensive measure. It never ended up being used because the anticipated British attack never happened.
All units, a break-in was just reported. Backup needed in Bloomingdale.
Over at the Upper West Side, check the lower part of Riverside Park to find a monument to take a picture of. This is the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial, commemorating members of the Union Army who served in the Civil War. Work on it was completed in 1902 and is the centerpiece of many Memorial Day celebrations. Near the Sable Outpost is a statue of birds with their wings outstretched. Looks pretty enough, take a picture. I swear not all of these are just in the park area. Here we go, something near the research station over here is Fire Station Engine 74, a famous fire department that even has a resident Dalmatian as a friendly mascot. Firefighters are the superheroes of the normal world. It makes sense to give them recognition. Back over at the park, there's a gazebo near some greenhouses above the Sable Outpost. Take a picture of this lovely place.
And that's why Jonah paid me the big bucks.
Upper side of this area is the Oscorp Industries building. All you need to do is take a picture of its front entrance while in the courtyard.
Backup needed in Bloomingdale.
Finally, we're at the Harlem District, which surprisingly has a ton of secret photos to make up the remaining ones. Cool. First one is that there's a gold statue on the northwest corner of Central Park. Normally what's here is the Frederick Douglass sculpture, built to honor said writer and publisher. The statue here is of a man on horseback led by what appears to be an angel. Back over at Riverside Park, there's a monument at the lower west corner of the district that you can take a picture of. This is Grant's tomb, a mausoleum for President Ulysses S. Grant and Julia, his wife. Upon his death, Julia revealed Grant wanted to be buried in New York, and John Hemingway Duncan proposed to have a tomb of unmistakably military character. It was eventually finished in 1897. Over nearby George Washington Bridge, there's some nice graffiti on a wall. Take a picture of it. Appreciate the artistry. Just a little bit further north by the graveyard is a monument. While the monument seems original, this graveyard seems based on the Trinity Church Cemetery and Mausoleum.
All units.
Speaking of graves, looking around here you can find the grave of Uncle Ben, and if you beat the story, Aunt May's grave. Peter can still hear those words ring out in his mind. With great power comes great responsibility. Keep that close to your heart, Peter. Always. Nearby is the Church of the Intercession. It's definitely supposed to be that, even though the building itself is oriented differently. It was built in 1846 and is known for its Clement Clarke Moore Festival, held on the Sunday before Christmas every year. Practically across the street, there's some elaborate graffiti art on the rooftops. The eyes are watching all. Don't you feel like somebody's watching you, and you got no privacy? A bit south from here is the Harlem Sanitarium. I don't really think there's a sanitarium in Harlem in actuality, but there is a rather large hospital complex that may have a mental ward. That's just my assumption. I have no idea about this hospital. The next one to take is Pale Horse Rides, the motorcycle shop that Tombstone had. I talked enough about Tombstone before, so yeah. Figured this would be significant and more than just a side mission anyway. Over here, there's a campaign office for Mayor Osborne. I guess you're curious enough about it to take a picture, so feel free to do so.
Magnifique.
The final secret photo is a garden within a bunch of buildings near a prisoner camp. It's a nice little relaxing area to tuck yourself into. And as a result for getting all the secret photos, the ESU suit is unlocked. If you needed any help finding these things, there's a specific suit mod that is designed just for pinpointing these down. The suit itself doesn't have any powers associated with it, but it's nice to have regardless. And that about does it for this video. Not all the secret photo locations had references or were based on real locations, but most of them were, so I hope this was informative. This has been Mr. Bacon Bits with Spider-Man on the PS4, and on the next video, I'll show New Game Plus and version differences to the PS5 Remastered Edition. See you then.